I could then turn around just like he did, put it on the market or find somebody to sell it and sell it right away, get the money, cash it. The cops would never know. Hey, this is Matt Cox, and I appreciate you checking out the channel. So here is what we're going to go over today. John Boseak and I are going to be going over some recent title fraud articles about title fraud that I am clearly interested in and
not involved in,
but I have some expertise in, and we found some.
Three local articles actually here.
Are they all Florida?
I think they're all Florida. Yeah.
Man, Florida's got problems.
This is a hotbed for shenanigans.
Good stuff. So we're going to read them because you read these articles, and it gives you, like, as a person who's just, as a layperson or a regular person just reading the article, like, it never gives you very much. But when I read the articles, or I always think, oh man, he must have done that, or she must have done this, or I wonder how she did this. This is how I would have done it. And then I also wonder, how did they get caught? Like, they caught these guys. Like, I wonder, So anyway, we're gonna go over the articles and check them out.
Absolutely. So let's start with the first one here. It's from Click Orlando News 6. Investigation prompts arrest over fraudulent deeds. Javon Walden, 36, pleaded not guilty and is awaiting trial. Daytona Beach, Florida. This one is actually out of, I think it was on News 6 out of Orlando, but this story is actually out of Daytona Beach, Florida. And I'm going to go ahead and break it down. 6 months after a News 6 investigation uncovered new information about a Volusia County man's alleged scheme to take possession of housing using fraudulent deeds, prosecutors have charged Javon Renard Walden with organized fraud. And then they're going to give an account from either the victim or, I'm assuming it's the victim. Tears just started flowing from my eyes, said Carolyn Schenk, after News 6 informed her of Walden's arrest last month. There are no words that will describe the gratitude I love for getting results on News 6. Hats off to News 6 for this, just blowing this thing wide open. Fuck out of here. So apparently, Skank claims Walden used...
Skank. That's a rough name, bro. Honestly.
I'm sorry, Shank.
Shank? Okay.
I thought that was a K.
I was going to say, that was Skank. Like, Jesus, that person went through hell growing up.
So, Shank claims Walden used a fraudulent deed to take possession of her late brother's home just days after his death. Property records confirm Walden sold the home for $70,000. Someone needed to stop him, said Shank, who reported the incident to police in December of 2020. Following an investigation into Shank's claim, the state attorneys closed the case in June 2021 and filed court papers stating it did not intend to prosecute Walden for forgery. Another account from her. It was very frustrating. I was very disappointed, said Shank. And though, oh my gosh, I'm going to call the News 6 to get results. This is obviously insanity. News 6 also discovered a different family had accused Walden of trying to fake their dead relative's home using a forged deed around the same time. Prosecutors reopened the case to take another look because of News 6 getting results. There it is for the third time.
They weren't going, but think about it.
There it is for the third time. News 6 getting results.
Well, I mean, they're pushing the whole, News 6. But what I'm saying is, like, you literally went to this guy's house. They went, the guy transferred the deed. They actually have him hands down, and the cops don't want to prosecute. Yep. Like, what a great crime.
Yeah. $70,000, and we're not going to prosecute.
We're not going to prosecute.
That's why she had to go to News 6, because they get results.
They get results.
News 6 also discovered a different family. Wait, I think I already read that.
Yeah.
A spokeswoman for the state attorney office confirmed News 6 report prompted the office to review the allegations against Walden. In November, a judge issued a warrant for Walden's arrest on a charge of organized scheme to defraud. Authorities located and arrested Walden. About a month later, he was released from custody on a $50,000 bond while awaiting trial. Walden, 36, has pled not guilty. His attorney, Daryl Smith, declined an opportunity to comment. If convicted, Walden faces a maximum penalty up to 30 years in prison. The defendant created and filed fraudulent deeds in an attempt to obtain properties from folks he grew up with, said R.J. Larissa, state attorney for the 7th Circuit. He used his knowledge of these folks and their particular vulnerabilities to feed his greed. The state attorney's office looked forward to him to holding him accountable for his criminal conduct. Yeah, now that Channel 6 got results.
Well, they get results.
Yeah. Despite Walden's arrest, Shank has not yet been able to take possession of her brother's home from the buyer who purchased it from Walden. Charles Gadsden, Shank's brother, had been listed as the owner of the modest 3-bedroom ranch on Lewis Drive since 2011, Volusia County records show. The late mother purchased the home more than 3 decades earlier. In November 2020, Gadsden was found fatally shot inside the house. Authorities ruled the 70-year-old's death a suicide. About 3 weeks after Gadsden died, his sister drove by the home to check on the property. As Shank approached, she said 2 identified men exited the house. As one of the men took off running down the street, Shank said the others stayed behind the locked front door. The guy says to me, "We were paid to come here and clean out the house," Shank said. He said, "Javon is the owner of the property." Shank, who claims she did not recognize the name Javon and decides not... What? Oh. Shank, who claims she did not recognize the name Javon and does not know the men who obtained the keys to the house. She said, "Fuck!" Said she called the Daytona Police Department to report the intruders. But just before she called, Javon Walden also contacted law enforcement. The police told me, "We talked with Javon Walden. He's the owner," Shank said. When Shank returned the next day, she discovered a U-Haul truck in the driveway and workers hauling away appliances, furniture, and clothing that had once belonged to her late mother and brother. She then began to question the men. "Who hired you to come to my mom's house?" Shank asked the workers as she recorded video with her cell phone. "The homeowner. His name is Javon," replied one of the men. "I have the deed in my pocket with his name on it." Shank later logged on the Volusia County Clerk of Court's Circuit Court website and viewed a copy of the most recent official record associated with the home. This is when she discovered a recently filed quitclaim deed that indicated her brother had transferred ownership of Lewis Drive property to Walden. "No one in my family knows who Javon Renard Walden is," Shank said. Walden once lived across the street and 5 doors down from Gadsden's house on Lewis Drive, according to court records. Shank found it suspicious that, according to the deed, her brother did not receive any money in exchange for the house. Charles was not a saint, but he would never give away anything like that, Shank said. In her opinion, Gadsden's apparent signature of the deed does not resemble the way the Army veteran signed his name on his driver's license, military records, and banking documents. The deed was notarized on November 20th, exactly 1 week after Gadsden's body was found. "It's impossible for him to come back from the dead to sign a deed in front of a notary," Shank said. Florida's law requires the property seller, known as a grantor, to sign a quitclaim deed in the presence of a notary public and 2 witnesses. The notary who certified the deed told News 6 that Gadsden was not present when she certified the document. She also claims portions of the deed were blank when she notarized the signatures.
Why'd she notarize it?
Right. Walden inserted Charles's name. Charles's name was not there. Alfrencia Perkins told News 6. Wow, I think that tells you everything you need to know. Perkins later told state attorney investigators that Walden asked her to backdate the deed, but she refused. While police were initially investigating Walden property, While police were initially investigating Walden, property records show he sold the home to a real estate investment company. I don't even know how to pronounce this name. Something said he first met Walden in November 2020 through the owner of a body shop where he takes his cars for repairs. Rydell, the director of a real estate investment holding company, was told that Walden was selling a property he had recently inherited from a family member. He said that Gadsden was his uncle who left him the house. Shank insists Walden is not related to her brother. Blah, 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 blah. I don't really feel like reading the rest of this fucking article. I think we get the gist of everything that's going on here. Basically, the guy owes fucking bunch of child support and blah, blah, blah. So, yeah, this is basically what he was doing. Tell me what he was doing, because I don't really understand what the fuck was going on.
So, he found out that this guy died.
Right. So how do you get his birth? How do you get his social security number and his birth date? That's what I want to know.
You don't need it.
You don't need that information to file a quick claim or a quick deed?
It's a quit like you're quitting the interest in your house. It's not quick. It's quit claim deed. And no, you don't. All he has to do is sign it over. You just need the address, legal description, and him to sign the deed over to you to quit his interest and assign it to somebody, and then have a notary notarize it, saying, "Yeah, this is the owner. He signed it in my presence."
But right here, the fucking notary was fucking.
She's an idiot.
Yeah.
She obviously and she
was actually homeboys, fucking homegirl of fucking of the dudes or whatever.
Yeah. She obviously
now
knew.
she's like trying to say, "Oh, I didn't fucking do anything wrong. I was just,
Yeah, what technically a notary means. All a notary is doing is witnessing the person signing the document. So the fact that she notarized it and then let him have it signed later, she already knew she fucked up. When they walked in the room, when the cops walked in to question her, she knew, "Oh man, I messed up." She came clean right away, I'm sure. Well, I wouldn't backdate it. Like, that means anything. You've already committed fraud.
Yeah.
Hey, I hope you're enjoying the video. And if you're interested in buying a painting from me, my contact information is in the description box. Back to the video. So what he did was he found out somebody that had died, which can't be difficult. Like, if there was probably a newspaper article.
Well, it said he lived down the street from the dude, so he knew who he was.
Right. Well,
he probably heard he fucking had committed suicide. He's like.
So he lived there at one. It's like, made it sound like at one time he lived there, but you're saying he lived there. I didn't realize he lived down the street at that moment.
Across the street and 5 doors down. It said in the article. You weren't listening.
Well, I thought it said he used to live down the street. I didn't realize he still lived there.
No. It said that.
Records
showed that he had previously lived across the street in 5 doors.
Oh, okay. Okay, so he obviously knew.
Yeah, he knew.
I was thinking maybe there was an article or something, but
he knew the guy.
So he sees the guy got killed down the street. Maybe saw the ambulance. Who knows? He saw it. He knows that guy owned that house. Probably went on public records and said, "This guy just died." Oh wait, that's the guy that died. The house is in his name or in his mother's name. The mother obviously doesn't live there, and he went downtown, got a copy of the deed, got all the information, placed the legal description and address and the guy's full name on a quitclaim deed, went to his homegirl, had her notarize it, then he went and he signed the document. Now, of course, the guy's already dead, but you see how close he got to getting away with it. So he then went, had the house cleaned out.
If it wasn't for his sister...
Yeah, if it weren't for the sister showing up, he would have gotten away.
Yeah.
No problem. And listen, he may still have. If she hadn't been diligent, the police looked into it, they dropped it.
Yeah.
We can't prove he forged anything. It's notarized. Done.
Yeah.
So if she hadn't been diligent and contacted the what was it? Somebody on your side 6, the news 6.
Channel 6, they get
Channel
results.
6, they got results.
It's because they get results.
They got results. So if it hadn't been for her contacting him, he would have gotten away with it. So here's the thing. Now he's got a quitclaim deed. He just files a quitclaim deed. Now the house is in his name. He then puts it on the market and sells the house right away to somebody who buys houses. Right?
Yeah.
That's not hard at all.
Some dude he met through his homeboy at a body shop.
But he could have done anything. He could have put it on Craigslist. He could have put it on the MLS. He could have done anything. Because legally, it appears that he legally owns the house. If he puts it on the market below value, then he's going to sell it almost within weeks, probably to a cash buyer, somebody that'll swoop in and realize, wow, this guy's got a house for $70,000. It's worth at least $110,000. We're going to get a good deal. Let's pay cash. Let's close it within 5 or 10 days because you can do that.
Yeah.
Also, the house probably didn't have a mortgage on it because they don't mention anything about a mortgage. He would have had to have satisfied.
Well, no, he said that his mother had purchased a home like 30 years prior.
Oh, yeah, so she has no mortgage. Right now it's paid off. But even if she did have a mortgage, or if there was a mortgage, let's say there was a remaining $20,000 or whatever, it would have obviously been paid off. Or he could have gone in and filed. What I used to do was I would file a quitclaim deed, right? I'm sorry, quitclaim deed. I would file a satisfaction of mortgage. So I would satisfy the mortgage. So when the title company went to public records and did their search, they would see, 1, it's in my name, and 2, there was a mortgage on it, but it was satisfied recently. Now, that document's fake, but they don't know that because they don't call the bank. Hey, sorry for interrupting the video, but I want to let you guys know that if you join my Patreon at the top tier, every single month you get a different painting, and the contact information for my Patreon page is in the description. Back to the video. So I could then turn around just like he did, put it on the market or find somebody to sell it, and sell it right away, get the money, cash it. The cops would never know. I mean, this happens all the time. So what I'm saying is, where he messed up is, 1, he did it in his own name like an idiot. 2, he didn't backdate the quitclaim deed. Had he backdated it 3 weeks, I don't see how the cops could have proven anything. Like, to this day, he wouldn't have been arrested. How would I be arrested? The guy died 3 weeks ago. He quit claim deeded it. He had 60 days to get out of it. He ended up killing himself, especially if he killed himself.
Yeah, that all lines up.
Right.
With trying to get rid of your house and all that shit.
Right, and I gave him I gave him $5,000 in cash. That's another thing he put down. Probably it was that on the quit claim deed he did it for like $10 or zero. Usually it's $10. So for $10 he did it. So she's saying he didn't even give him any money. If he had put $5,000 cash. What are you talking about? I gave him $5,000 in cash. He got to blow the money over the last 3 weeks, and then he killed himself. It was his plan all along. I now own the house. Or he could have done it in a completely separate name, and like he have a fake ID, put the house on the market, sell it. The money gets transferred to a bank account in that name. You remove the money in cash. All they've got is a grainy black and white photo of some guy opening a bank account. And once again, they can't interview you, so mostly they can't find you. They don't interview you. They don't really have anything. It never goes anywhere.
Right.
I mean, honestly, if the guy was a little bit smarter and a little more savvy, this is something that you could go around all throughout Florida, all through the country, and do this constantly. Like, if I was willing to just completely dick people over, this is a great scam. It's a great scam. Even if the family shows up. They call the police. Cops show up. You say, what are you talking about? This guy killed himself or shot himself or died or whatever. I bought the house 3 weeks ago. It's notarized. And all you have to do to get it notarized, he went to a real notary. He's such an idiot. Yeah. He could have simply gone and gotten anybody to notarize any document. And when they notarize it, he now has everything he needs on their notary stamp. He could then go online, order a notary stamp.
Say you could buy your own notary stamps.
Right. He could have ordered his own notary stamp for a real notary.
Yeah.
Backdated it 8 weeks. And when they went to go talk to the notary, even if they kept a log.
Well, you know how easy it is to become a notary?
Well, I understand that.
It's an 8-hour class. Like, you can literally just do it under a fucking full, using a full. And then you could just be your own notary.
I agree, but the problem is, the police if the police get involved, which they're going to, there's family involved, and this is a death. Somebody killed themselves or died, so they're gonna. At some point, the cop goes and says, "Well, who notarized this document?" Like, the big thing is the notary. This guy is saying that this person quit claim deeded the house to him 6 weeks ago. Let's go find the notary. They go find the notary, and if the notary may say, "I didn't notarize this document," or "I have no proof of notarizing it, and I keep a log," but what are they going to say? They're 100% positive they didn't notarize it? Maybe I didn't put it in the log. I don't know. It is my notary stamp. That is my signature. Like, I can do signatures perfect. So and not just that, you never have the original document. All they're going to have is a copy of the document in public records. So I could go to that notary and get anything notarized. And then I could cut and paste that notary and their signature onto a real document, record the document in public records, and the notary's going to be like, "That is my signature. That is my notary stamp. That is my information. I don't remember doing it, but I can't say for sure I didn't because that's definitely my signature." Now the cops are like, "Look, man, what do we do? It was recorded. That guy signed it. It was 6 weeks before his death."
But I'm sure that notary would remember either notarizing that document or not.
And now the reason,
and they're gonna be like, "I didn't notarize that. I would remember if that document came in here with that person, and I didn't see or meet any of those people."
And let's say they do say that. Keep in mind, by this point, it's months later, not 6 weeks, because they're not even investigating for months. So now it's 3 or 4 months. Now let's say they say 100% that wasn't me. That's fine, but an expert is gonna say that's your signature. Well, then they must have gotten it off. Do you see what I'm saying? It's enough that the cops are going to be like they may not even investigate. Not just that, the cops don't even understand the crime.
Right.
It's difficult to even explain. And then to try and explain that to a jury, and that's the real problem. How do we explain this to a jury? Like, it's complicated.
Well, they just did a pretty good job of laying it out in that fucking article right there.
They kind of did. Yeah, they did because he screwed up. And it's so obvious he screwed up. I'm saying if he took the proper precautions, that dude could have gotten away with it.
Yeah.
He wasn't that off. And then you got to think, as bad as he fucked up, they still weren't going to prosecute until they were embarrassed into doing it.
Yeah.
If they hadn't been embarrassed.
You know why?
Which, if they Channel 6, they
got the results.
Yeah.
All right.
If you like the video, do me a favor and hit the subscribe button. Hit the bell so you get notified of videos like this. and leave a comment. I answer most of the comments, and share the video to as many of your friends and family as possible. See you then.